Hey everyone, I am Nick D'Antonio. This is D'Antone on drums, and today is a song called Echoes from Hillsong. And we're going to talk about the hows and whys of what I did, how I did it, why I did it, and hopefully you learn something from that. So this is a worship night. Going to do about an hour or so of worship, and I really wanted to start. This is a fast song. I really wanted to start with a lot of energy. And so the worship leader is just opening up with some encouragement, and he's going to read some scripture. And what I'm doing here is just sort of laying a bed underneath that. Not too loud, but something. And that, sort of gives permission so other musicians can feel like they can play too. And we can sort of put this bed underneath the worship leader so that when he's done, we can go right in real strong and bring a lot of energy right from the start. So that's what we're doing here. Just laying down some cymbals and
it's what we crave.
Letting him go and be ready when he's done.
Lord, we ask you to come and to meet with us, come and speak to us, come touch our hearts, come minister to us. Lord, each one of us come in a different place, but Lord, each one of us are thirsty and hungry for you. Be glorified in this place, Lord. In your name I pray, amen.
Got the metronome already going the whole time, so we're in time.
We will sing, we will dance till the
A lot of times, honestly, I would just start this with just kick and me alone. But like I said, just with the situation, if you were coming from another song, I might have done that. But starting with the song, you want to start with a lot of energy. I'm on the ride. I'm hitting the snare. Like I said, just wanting to bring a lot of energy.
we will sing, we will dance till the earth goes to heaven.
Here, the worship leader repeats the first verse, which we don't normally do, and I wanted to add something to bring it up just a little bit, and so I real strong on the hi-hat. Kick has been 4 on the floor the whole time, and adding the snare.
Can you feel the winds are changing? There's a new day.
I'm going to pause here for a second. I want to talk about something that's really important. I'll talk about this over and over and over again, but that is knowing what you're doing and where you're going and playing with confidence. I know the song. I know my parts in the song. I know where I'm going in the song. And I'm going to play all of that with a lot of confidence. None of the other musicians are going to wonder if I know what I'm doing. And they're going to have confidence playing their parts because they can tell that I'm going somewhere by the fill or the build-up I do right before the next part. They're going to know that I'm have a really good feel. If they forgot or if they're unsure, they're going to know or at least feel confident about playing the next part, or at least playing that in the same dynamic range as me. One of the biggest things you have to overcome as a young drummer is playing with confidence. Even if you're not 100% sure, if you play with confidence, the team can follow you, and at least you'll probably stay together. We ran out of time for a rehearsal and just barely got a sound check this a couple weeks ago, and worship leader looked at me and was like, "Just play with confidence and we'll be fine." And I did, and we were fine. So playing confidently is a big deal, but in order to do that, you have to prepare. You got to put time in ahead of time. You have to know the song, know your parts. So here we go to a pre-chorus, and it's sort of a lateral move, but I wanted to play something different. It's part of why I played the snare, because I knew I was going to go to toms later, and I wanted to let there be a sound and dynamic change when I went to this pre-chorus. So repeat the verse, went to the snare, go to the pre-chorus, switch to the toms.
On the rise, and the atmosphere is breaking as the new world comes to life. We will sing, we will dance.
Build up, quarter notes on the kick, eighths on the snare, and then bring it all together with all eighth notes. Into the chorus real big and strong. Still not giving it everything because I know we've got a whole lot of song to do still. And so I don't want to be at a 10 yet. I want to be at an 8. Chorus outro. I almost never ride on a crash. Almost never. But this, I was already at an 8, and I didn't. You can't. There's not a whole lot you can do to play louder. You can play a little bit louder, but it wasn't going to be enough for that part. So I went to the crash because it's sonically different. It's a higher pitch, and so it worked to sort of bring it up a little bit without actually playing more volume. And because it's going from a 21-inch ride to a 19-inch crash, which is pretty big, it makes that transition okay. Here we drop down to the verse. I want to give it room. So, room to come back up. So I dropped all the way down to kick. I also needed to take my sweatshirt off because it was getting hot already. But going all the way down in that verse 2 gives me a lot of room to go. Pre-chorus on the toms. And then second half of the pre-chorus and build up here. A little bit of a fill. I do those hits together, bam, 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 just to kind of give it a little bit of space, and then really get into the chorus. Back up to that crash. And a guitar player looks at me, we're going to the bridge, they'll say, yep. That tom rhythm here, using some crashes, just to kind of keep the energy going, but to give it, again, something different dynamically. Something I want to bring up here is I'm about to emphasize and mirror what somebody else in the band is doing, and I like to do that as often as possible. For me, I love the idea of playing off other musicians, and I really think it takes the music to another level. It gives me personal joy to hear and listen to what somebody else is doing and to play off that or to mirror that. So I always love that opportunity, and I'm going to do that here. I'm going to mirror the melodic rhythm. So, the rhythm of what the words are. And it's going to be straight quarter notes, and it doesn't often follow that cleanly. Lyrics don't usually fall right on those, so it seemed like a good opportunity to draw that out and to add emphasis there. And it just comes on the part where it says, the lyrics say, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. And just try to hit those cleanly and just give the song a little more. Good God, His name is Jesus. Another thing I just want to point out there, going into the chorus, hitting that crash, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, ticka 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 boom. Again, just something that there's a little bit of a space there, it feels like, in the music, and it's an opportunity to do something different. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from a really great drummer named John Stevens. And he said, every song should have a part where you're like, oh, he does that part, or I always hear this part in this song. And it's not so much that you're trying to bring emphasis to yourself, especially in a worship setting, but you're looking for opportunities to give the song a unique feel in its own voice. And so that's what I try to do whenever I can, and hitting those crashes in that way going into the chorus. And I've done that other previous parts of the song. It's just a different way to get into a song and get into a chorus or another part that's different than most other songs. Here we drop just a kick. And I usually keep it just kick, but people get off. The congregation claps too fast, so adding the hi-hat helps keep everybody together. There's that fill again. All right, right here, we're at the last chorus of the song. I'm pretty confident we're not going to go back into anything else. So I turn the click off because I know the ending is gonna be a slow down ending. And so I'm at this point, you can see right here, I'm looking at my set list, and I'm looking to see our worship leader has an iPad that's hooked up to all of our we all have little TVs, so I can see when he swipes to the next song. So I'm thinking next song right here. What's my transition? How is the song ending? What's my transition? Are we changing tempos? Are we changing keys? What's that transition look like? Am I starting the next song? All of that starts right here. And I've turned the click off because I know we're going to slow down the ending. And I'm sort of getting ready for whatever comes next. Comes the ending. And I botched it. Guitar player looking at me like, nice. Yep, that's how not to slow down an ending. Just kind of botched the last hit, and it's all my fault. But I covered it well. Start to click for the next song. I know we're staying in the same key, so I'm going to play a little bit because I know that basically there's going to be a pad, and the other instruments can sort of let their, usually end the song on the same note. You're going to start the next song, and if it's in the same key, typically. And so I know it's going to be a real smooth transition, so I keep playing just to, again, help that transition. And this comes back to knowing what you're doing, knowing what you're playing in the songs, knowing what the songs are. So... All right, that was Echoes from Hillsong. If you've got questions, leave them in the comments. I will try to get to them. And I hope that you learned something from this, and we'll have more videos to come.